The women's volleyball team hosted the number 2 ranked UBC Okanagan Heat on Friday. The Heat have yet to lose a game so far this season. In the first, Kylie Willis would place an excellent serve. The Heat would somehow handle the ball, and the two squads would battle it out in a long rally. The Heat would set up an attack, however the ball would be launched long, and the point would go to the Cougars. The set, however, would be won by UBCO 25-22. The Cougars would trail early in the second set. Alex Donahue would smash a cross-court ball. The Heat would struggle to handle it, and the Cougars would notch their second point of the set. The Heat would be too strong, however, and would win the second set 25-18. The third would be a different story. The Cougars would be on set point leading by 5. After a nice rally, the Heat would look for a back row attack. The ball would sail well out of bounds, and the Cougars would win their first set of the match 25-20. That would be all the sets the Cougars would be able to muster, however. The Cougars' final point of the match would come when Chantel Park would serve a ball towards the Heat. The Heat would have a hard time handling the ball and would send it long. The set would be won by UBCO and would win the match 3-1. Alex Donahue would lead the Cougars with 11 kills and 13.5 points, while Amy Gordon notched 28 assists in the loss. The Cougars would drop to 3 wins, 2 loss record after the game. The men's volleyball squad would host the UBCO Heat as well. Mount Royal would get the first point of the match when UBCO's Kyle Hinchey smashed a ball outside the line. The Cougars carried that momentum throughout the first set. Josh Kirkham would block a Heat attack. Quinn Bromley would answer by drilling a ball into the Heat defenders who couldn't handle it. The Cougars would take the first set 25-13. The second set would be much more of the same. Riley Friesen would lay down an excellent serve, and Kirkham would bury the Heat mishandle for the point. Cougars would take the second set 25-19. The third set would be much closer. Tied at 5, Jonathan Phillips would somehow handle the hard serve, and Quinn Bromley would smash one down to give the Cougars the lead. On match point, Samuel Brisbane would do his best impression of Superman by diving at the ball. It would end up on Kirkham, who would rifle one off a Heat blocker to end the game. Friesen led the game with 12 kills and 15 points, and Tanner Gravis added 32 assists to give the Cougars a 3-0 win. On Saturday, the women's squad would look to bounce back against the Heat. The Cougars would take their first point of the match when Maddie Quinn would make a nice dig. The ball would find its way to Kylie Willis, who would kill it. The Cougars would fall 27-25 in the first set. In the second, the Cougars would find momentum. The Cougars would display a classic bump set spike with Willis again finishing to tie the game up. Mount Royal would pull ahead 25-19 to tie the match up. It would be a back and forth game, however. The Cougars would look to take the third set when Robin Potolicki would smash one up the middle. The Cougars' lead would falter as the Heat would battle back, winning the set 25-21. The Cougars wouldn't go down easy, however. Cassidy Kitchen would have herself a great game, notching one of her 14 kills here. The Cougars would force a fifth set, winning set number 4, 25-18. In the fifth set, the Cougars were 1 point away from handing the Heat their first loss of the season. An intense rally would commence on the match points, and the ball would eventually find its way to Taylor Pelland. She would kill one into the Heat blockers who couldn't handle it. The Cougars would then upset the number 2 ranked Heat, winning 3-2. With the win, the Cougars move up to a 4-2 record. It won't get any easier for Mount Royal as they have a home-and-home with the number 6 University of Calgary Dinos this weekend. The men's side would look to sweep the weekend against the Heat on Saturday night. The Cougars would notch their first point after somehow receiving an intense serve. Tyler Schmidt would smash one home to get the Cougars on the board. Mount Royal would take the first set 25-21. In the second set, cue Quinn Bromley.
Big block from Brisbane. Big save there from Bromley. What a play. And Brislin hammers home the kill. Brisbane, the setter, puts it away.
Cougars would win the second set 25-20. The momentum would continue in the third. The Cougars would be on set point when Jonathan Phillips picked up a couple digs. The ball would find its way to Matt Sally, who would drill a kill to win the game for the Cougars.
It's going to go to Saley. He goes cross court and the Cougars win.
Mount Royal would sweep the weekend without losing a single set. The Cougars haven't lost a set in their last 3 matches. Mount Royal's next matchup will be a battle of 2 top 10s when they have it home and home with the Calgary Dinos.